would like to begin today's panel discussion with a wonderful quote by Mother Teresa. I am sure in the families and many of our homes, maybe we are not hungry for a piece of bread, but maybe there is somebody there in the family who is unwanted, unloved, uncared, forgotten. There isn't love. Love begins at home, and love to be true has to hurt. This was the speech given by Saint Mother Teresa when she accepted her Nobel Peace Prize at the aula of the University of Oslo, Norway. Today, we celebrate International Women's Day to mark an historic event that took place 110 years ago. And this revolutionary event, which happened in the history, was actually the main impact factor of this woman, Teresa Serber Malikil. She was a Ukrainian-born American labor activist, suffragist, and educator. She was the first woman to rise from factory work to leadership in the Socialist Party. Her 1910 novel, The Diary of a Shirtwaist Striker, is credited with helping to reform New York State labor laws. As head of the Women's National Committee of the Socialist Party of America, she established an annual Women's Day, which was the precursor to International Women's Day. Women leaders have demonstrated their skills, knowledge, and networks to effectively lead organizations. Today, there is more acceptance than ever before that. Women bring different experiences, perspectives, and skills to the table and make irreplaceable contributions to decisions, policies, and laws that work better for all. To mark the importance of Women's Day celebration, Jain Deemed to be University has organized this wonderful event with the theme Women Leading the Path. And I'm very happy to welcome our panelists for today, Dr. Rajni Jairam, Dr. Maithili P. Rao, Dr. Asha Rajiv, and Dr. Varalakshmi N. And I take immense pleasure to be part of this panel discussion. And I would like to start introduction with Dr. Rajni Jairam. She is a rank holder throughout her academic career, has done her doctoral degree on Mahabharata, a transcultural study from Bangalore University. She has been a recipient of various awards for her academic achievements. She has 30 years of experience in research and teaching. Having worked at various levels, she is now the professor of Department of Sanskrit, Jain Deemed to be University, and also the Dean Student Welfare. She has to her credit more than 100 paper presentations, most of which are invited papers or session chair papers at international, national, and state level conferences. She has to her credit 60 resources, lectures, and higher education, and 48 lectures on various aspects of literature. She has guided 2 MPhil and 5 PhD students. Currently, 2 research scholars are working under her. So we welcome you, ma'am. Our next distinguished speaker is Dr. Maithili P. Rao, currently working as Dean of Languages, Research Coordinator, and PhD and Professor of Hindi at Jain Deemed to be University, Bangalore. Her areas of expertise are teaching, coordinating, strategic planning, implementation of quality standards, curriculum development. 23 years of rich experience in teaching, coordinating, building new programs, heading teams with specific goals. We welcome you, ma'am. Our next distinguished speaker on the panel is Dr. Asha Rajiv, Professor of Physics, Director, IQAC and School of Sciences, B2, Jain Deemed to be University. An academician having 30 years of experience in teaching physics, research, and administrative. Presently working as Director of IQAC and School of Sciences, B2 of Jain Deemed to be University. Dr. Asha holds BSc, B.Ed, MPhil, master's in physics and doctorate in physics, and her research experience is in the field of material science and has to her credit papers published in indexed journals. She is also a guide to many research scholars. She has assessed many higher education institutions as part of the peer team appointed by NAC. She has been a part of all assessment cycle of Jain as a college as well as a university. So a hearty welcome to you, ma'am. Last but not the least, I would like to welcome our next panelist, Dr. Varalakshmi K.N., Director, School of Sciences, Professor and Head of Department of Biotechnology, Jain deemed to be University. Ma'am's major research focus has always been in cancer biology. She has more than 40 research articles published in national and international journals of high repute, presented 47 conference papers, including both national and international. Ma'am has delivered various keynote addresses she has been invited as speaker in 2-day national seminar on advances in bioprocess engineering, practical approach for today's bioprocess challenges, sponsored by DBT CTEP New Delhi and TSC OST. So we welcome you, ma'am. Moving ahead with the panel discussion, I would like to ask my first question to Dr. Rajni Jairam. Ma'am, describe the journey at the organizations. You worked at various levels at the organization, created so many opportunities. So how has been your experience at the organization?
Thank you so much, Kushal, for the wonderful introduction that you gave. A very hearty welcome to you also to the panel.
Thank you.
My journey with Jain Group of Institutions has been very long. It's been about 30 years since I'm associated with the group. I joined as a part-time lecturer at the age of 23 or 24 in the Vivipuram campus. And even today, I feel at home like as if it is my mother's place when I visit this campus. I was shy and I was very, very introvert when I joined the group. I was very scared to face people. I do not know the reason. This was probably I had a very limited exposure to the outside world. My interaction with the public domain was very limited, mostly a homemaker at the time with already a kid in hand. I pursued my education after the birth of my first son, and well, I was a good student, I should say, because I have been getting ranks and gold medals in my entire career. Maybe that prompted me to take up a higher education role, and I did my master's. And by chance, I definitely tell you, it was by chance that I joined Jain as a lecturer. It was not by choice, because I always thought I would be a homemaker forever. I had destined myself to that role, okay? Cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, etc. I was very happy in my space. And then when I came here, I think it was Dr. Chandraj Raichan who first unleashed the hidden potential in me. He said that you're an excellent orator, your writing skills are so good. There is something beyond being a subject person here. I want you to come out of the box and work in this place. So he and Professor Shantamani, the then principal of the college, Jain College, they handed over me the responsibility of the cultural coordinator of the institution. And this probably helped me in networking with many people, and also my social skills improved to a very great deal. It was like an overnight change in me that from an extrovert, shy and demure individual, I became, from an introvert person, I was shy, demure, and I probably did not even like to face people. And later on, there was a complete transformation in me. I was surprised, I could meet people, I could talk to them, convince them, and I could even bring some sponsorships. This gave me a lot of confidence to move forward. And whatever opportunities which were given, there were plenty of opportunities which were given to me. I became the examination coordinator and many more. And I could find out that there was a lot of potential in me. And these people were responsible for unleashing. And the coming of our Pro-Chancellor, the current Pro-Chancellor and the erstwhile Vice-Chancellor of the university, Dr. N. Sundarajan, gave me a complete change in my personality. he unleashed another side of mine that I could also be a person who could be a resource for higher education. From then on, I didn't look back. It is he who prompted me to complete my research degree, and it was him who prompted me to take up so many other assignments thanks to him. Therefore, I think my colleagues like Dr. Maithili Rao, who always used to be there with me in the language department, they have also been a source of encouragement to me because they have always worked alongside me and I have worked alongside her. And my research potential, I should say, it was totally unleashed by Dr. Maithili Rao because she said, you just can't be in the Sanskrit domain in which you have done your doctorate. You've got so many extramural talents that you should be an adjudicator for cultural studies and many more. She has been giving me so many opportunities in the research domain, and this has helped me to climb from step to step. If I have achieved something, it is not just my achievement. I give the share of my achievement to the people at Jain Group of Institutions, and of course, I can never forget my family who have been the source of inspiration for me because I was 20 when I got married, and after marriage, I'm able to achieve a lot, which was a rarity in my times. I'm married for 34 years now, and it was a rarity in my times that women would study after marriage. This is my journey from a part-time lecturer. I graduated to the head of the department, and from then to a professor of the university, the director of the quality cell, the principal of one of the campuses of Jain Group of Institutions, and now as the Dean of Student Welfare, constantly being with the students of the university, I have become very young and very energetic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a remarkable journey. I can definitely tell you since you shared you got married at a young age, and it's been a long journey for you to handle so many events and organize and at different various levels. Also, ma'am, you've also been part of various international seminars. You've also attended workshops at foreign universities. So how has that experience been?
Well, the domain which I chose for myself, I'm a commerce graduate. Therefore, people thought I would become a chartered accountant or a company secretary or a finance person, whatever, in the domain of commerce. But when I chose language as my specialization, there were raised eyebrows because people thought this lady is mad. Probably she's going into a domain which has not been navigated by anybody in the family. Therefore, the people in the family themselves were surprised by my choice. And I found that the classical language which I chose has got lot of importance in the minds of the foreign scholars. They respect the Indian scholars a great deal. Wherever I have gone so far, I visited many countries and given discourses and special lectures, etc. Wherever I went, I got a very good audience who appreciated the kind of oratory the Indians have. I used to see the entire hall with a lot of people because my previous speaker had just about handful of people listening to him. He was from Indonesia, the first experience. And I was very apprehensive that even the 7 or 8 of them who were seated there would walk away and I would be speaking to a hall which was empty with no people. But to my surprise, when I started speaking, the hall was full. I myself was surprised at this because I did not know how they would respond to whatever I spoke. But I have visited the University of Heidelberg also. There people could not understand English and there was a translator for me. And even when people could not understand my language and they had to communicate whatever I conveyed in German language, they were actually asking me such relevant questions. I thought that the Indian scholars have a very, very long standing in the international arena. Therefore, I now really accept these important universities invite me. Due to pandemic, I could not visit many of them. I have been invited. In fact, I am not supposed to reveal it, but I am revealing it at this point in time. I have been invited for the Chevening Gurukul Fellowship now. I have cleared the first round. I think second and third round are there. Let me wait and see if I can clear those rounds and make my university proud by being a fellow of the Chevening Gurukul system of the UK. It is a very prestigious fellowship where I will be pursuing a course in the University of Oxford as a visiting faculty. Thank you so much.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing such a wonderful news with us. And I wish you all the best for your plans what you have got. And I definitely agree that Sanskrit has been mother of all languages, and we know that your contribution in this field has been immense. So thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would ask my next question to one of our next distinguished guests, that's Dr. Maithili P. Rao. Ma'am, on International Women's Day, what is the most important message you want to send out to young women thinking about their careers?
That's quite a challenging question, Kushal, and I don't like you for this. What can one? I've touched 51, okay, and I don't know. The worlds are so different today.
Yes.
The worlds that these young girls are living in are very different from the worlds that we all lived in or even living in right now. So we are all in different worlds altogether. And this world is a sum total of all our experiences. So, and I have always been a little more fortunate than some others, is what I believe in. I believe because I have got somehow got the privilege of getting the right opportunities, the right ecosystem around me, the right people who have been very encouraging, very supportive of everything, whether it was the family or at the workplace or my friend circle, all around me. But at the end of the day, if you have to ask me what I should tell these young girls or other women also, it is that one needs to be very honest with oneself about what one wants. And everything starts from there. If I am honest with myself about what I want, I will somehow or the other get with all answers to help me, to support me in everything that I want. That clarity of thought, of purpose, is the single most driving factor, I think, that can take one from, one point to another point in terms of progress, in terms of development. So we have to make peace with that. Once you make peace with some of these things which are beyond your control, life becomes easy. Life is to get complicated when you are continuously in a revolt, kind of a mode. So being in a revolt kind of a mode does not make anybody happy. Even in my limited journey that I've had to make a lot of adjustments. I will not use the word compromises. I will use the word adjustments. Because at the end of the day, I was always kind of clear about what is going to lead me, my family, my community, everything around me to the ultimate goal of happiness. Because that's what we all strive for at the end of the day. But that's why I started off by saying that I need to have clarity about what I want from myself. If it's the career in the true sense of the word that I want, I should be able to pursue it with all dedication that it needs. And then everybody else automatically is going to fall in line.
One saying in our Indian culture, they say that a man works for the progress of a family, but a woman works for the progress of a community. So very inspiring. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your comment on how women can actually take this particular advice that you've given them and make best use of this. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, my next question would be directed to very distinguished panelist, Dr. Asha, ma'am. Ma'am, you hold so many multiple degrees in various fields, and you've been part of core part of reputed committees as well. How do you manage time to focus on teaching, research work, and administration work guiding, various students, scholars, and at the same time it's very important to give time for our family. So how do you manage that, ma'am?
Really, actually, the thing is that, as you said, we are being a part of the family as well as taking care of the entire campus quality standards. I have to met because being the director of the internal quality assurance cell too, and guiding the research scholars, taking a class, everything. So for that, what I exactly do is I plan. I believe in dedication, the punctuality, hard work, dedication, and perseverance. So I always see to it that I plan for a day and I see to it that what are the things what I have to do next. And I believe in empowerment. So I empower my staff also. I give them the responsibilities, and I know that particular person will do it. So and they taking them into confidence and getting the things done and just monitoring them, and also I know that the work will be done. I know that I have faith in my faculty as well as in my students and monitoring them. That is how I, and of course I should thank my the friends as well as my family who have been supporting me throughout my journey, and they that is where I am able to meet all the standards. That's what I believe in. The main message which I want to give it to the youngsters is dreams do not come true just because you dream them. It takes hard work, dedication, and determination. So dream it. Everything begins in the heart and mind. Dare to dream and work to make it come true. That is what I believe in, and that is how I begin my journey every day. And I hope I am successful for it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I remember, Abraham Lincoln, who was the president of United States. He said one thing: if there's a woodcutter, if I give him 10 hours to chop that particular tree, I would spend 8 hours sharpening the axe and 2 hours chopping the tree. So I exactly, remembered that, as you told me, discipline, perseverance, determination. These are the important, qualities that we see in, to manage. And ma'am, I definitely agree with you that, having short-term goals is more important than having long-term goals, because as you told, you plan the day. Okay. So that is something which was really inspiring to me also. Thank you so much for sharing that, ma'am. My next question is directed Dr. Valakshmi, ma'am. You have, been associated with the university, and one thing what we've seen is that, can you tell us like who has been your role model in terms of, your progress in the career? Who has, been your idol? Who has been inspiring you? If you could, tell us about that.
Thank you, Kushan. Actually, I can say that the inspiration is from me within. I have not kept anybody as my role model. I follow my passion. Actually, research is my passion, and from my high school days, or when I was in degree, or when I was doing my post-graduation, always dreamt about doing research and becoming a scientist. So my father wanted me to be a doctor. So to be a role model, my father is my role model. Nobody else is that. He always believed that dedication, hard work, and you pursue your passion, so you will achieve it. So that's what exactly. Soon after I completed my MSc, along with it, I also took up the UGC CSIR NET exam. So before my MSc results came, I had cleared this UGC CSIR. And as I wanted to become a researcher and scientist, rather than going for a university, I felt I should join Indian Institute of Science. So to my bad luck, what happened was I applied for a different stream than what I am. I did MSc in zoology with entomology specials, but I applied for biochemistry PhD. Because my not having the biochemistry field, I could not get into Indian Institute of Science to pursue my research. But nevertheless, I applied to Bangalore University. But in between, what happened was I was waiting for the Bangalore University to call for research position, research assistant. Then my father wanted to get me married. So I got married soon after MSc, I can say, and then came to landed in Bangalore. Then I had to apply rather than joining in Mangalore University. I had to join Bangalore University to do my research. But I made one thing sure. When before committing to my husband, yes, I told him that I want to do PhD. So since he agreed to support me in my research career, so I didn't say no, and I went into what you can say, that commitment of marriage, and then immediately I joined for my PhD in Bangalore University. One thing for every woman, it's very important that she needs to get support from the parents, or once after marriage, she needs to get the support from the husband. Otherwise, it's very difficult to progress in the career. 2002, I joined here as a part-timer, and then in 2003, I joined as a full-timer in the biotechnology department of Jain College. But once I joined here, then there was no looking back, because I got the full environment here, which was fully supportive of not just teaching. I can say our previous Vice Chancellor sir, now the Pro Chancellor sir, was so motivating, and he was telling that you have to do research. All these kind of motivation, that environment was given by Jain College and our Jain University. So everything was, so you have to take it everything positively. So though there was a lot of pressure on you, so yes, you have to do this, you have to do that. So your dedication, your passion towards what you want to do, that is something which everyone has to follow. So that is about my.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I remember a quote by Ratan Tata. He says, if you want to walk faster, walk alone. But if you want to walk further, you need to walk together. And listening to all your experiences, ma'am, I remember that you always, try to uplift others. There have been sacrifices that you would have done. Maybe, you wouldn't have shared with someone, but the sacrifice is always there, because if you want to have a long journey to walk with together, sacrifices should be made. And I feel very happy to be part of this again. Okay, now I have an open question to everyone. Ma'am, today we see that a lot of women are entering the workforce. It can be educational institutions, it can be different institutions, all right. Now the workforce that we have now, is this the better than the one which we actually had?
Well, can I go first with the permission of the panelists here?
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah. I'm very proud to be a woman.
Yes.
The reason being, a woman is holistic. Right from the Vedic ages, when the Brahmavadinis were there, Gargi, Maitreyi, Sulabha, Vidula, Savitri, and many more. There's a very famous saying in Sanskrit which says, Gunaha puja sthanam, guninaha, nacha lingaha, nacha vayaha, which means people with quality should always be placed in the pedestal of worship. There is no age or gender barrier for the qualitative people. From what I have experienced in my interactions, networking, workplace experiences, and many more, the societal connections that I have, etc., I have always found, let the men not take this as a point of contention, but I have always found that the women are more dedicated, very sincere, very honest, and very focused in whatever they do. They are at the table workers. I will tell you very frankly, Kushal, I think my co-panelists would also agree. We never go for coffees at all. We sit tight and we work, and we turn out quality work also. I speak for the women who working just for the employees of the Jain group or any other particular section of women. It could be at home when we want to feed the family. There's a tinge of cooking by a cook is very much different, because the cook, he or she, does it for exchange of money, whereas we as mothers or wives or whatever we are, daughters, we do it with affection. So the food is seasoned with affection. Therefore, it gives you more energy and more positive strength. Similarly, at workplace, I think more and more women are coming out to become professionals.
Thank you very much. As you were describing about, when a woman cooks food, she actually, does it with prayers.
Women had very little say, and women are now considered as the epitome of strength, love, sacrifice, and courage. They are now self-sufficient, well-aware, and financially independent also. Jain University actually has considerable number of women faculty members, and they are given an opportunity to make decisions and share their views. So I would like to quote actually Oprah Winfrey: "Think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness."
Our girls today have their own fair share of challenges, and whatever we had as challenges were different from what challenges they have today. In terms of creating the space for them for achieving their aspirations and ambitions, yes, it is there, but still there's a long way to go in terms of the community changing, the society changing. You'll be very lucky if you get that kind of an ecosystem where you have the best of both the worlds.
Yes, ma'am, I completely agree with you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts about this. Thank you very much, ma'am. And a last question for today, ma'am. Now that we've discussed, you've all expressed your ideas. I want to know what are the skills or abilities, or rather say the qualities that is required that women can develop to make it more impactful today in the institutions they're working.
Which I want to say is women should forget that they are gender. That is one important thing. Actually, when I was growing up in my family with my parents, so my parents didn't say that you are a girl, you shouldn't do this, or your brother only should do that. So that one thing, so that gives you the courage that I am not inferior to anyone. The kind of support required, and never I thought that I am a girl, I shouldn't do this, I can do only certain things. So that I am seeing in many of the families, this thing has to come from the parent side. On the part of the society, both the mother and the father, to give that courage to their child, whether it's a boy or a girl, the education starts from home. If you have a son, you give him more importance than your daughter. So then in the society, the inequality develops. So if it starts, the son gets to know that my sister has equal importance as I am. So then only what I can say, that the society is male dominated, which will slowly, now things are turning better, and slowly the actual gender equality will set in.
Gender will not play a role here, irrespective of what gender you belong to. Accommodating yourself to the culture of the organization, being able to work with others as a team worker, and the opportunities which come your way, if you are able to deliver according to those opportunities which come your way, interpersonal skills, all these things, they are a uniform kind of a list of requirements for anybody, for that matter, whether it is a male or a female worker. I don't think it matters whether you are a male or a female worker. When you want to go to the next level, that's when you have to start thinking of how you pitch yourself. So I don't think in an organization, if you want to grow, gender has any role to play there. It's the same set of expectations from both.
Kushal,
To reiterate, I will just say that one should have an eagerness to learn. Patience should be there, and passion should be there. Never give up attitude should be there.
Yes.
And one, as Madam said, one should be a good team player too. If that qualities we can have, whether it is a boy or a girl, one can succeed in life.
Yes, ma'am.
Kushal, I just want to end with how a holistic woman is described in our ancient literature. That answers your question completely. Dr. Maithili, I think you know this. She has been endowed with 6 qualities, a holistic woman. She is called as Karyeshu Dasi, Karaneshu Mantri, Bhojyeshu Mata, Shayaneshu Rambha, Rupecha Lakshmi, Kshamaya Dharitri. From this itself, Udara Charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept has come, and it is the woman who underlines the saying Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. May the entire humankind attain happiness. This is specially coming from the mouth of the woman who is endowed with compassion, and she is Mother Earth. She stands as the epitome for womanhood. This is how I would like to end my impression about a woman who makes a large difference in the world and makes it a better place to live.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for expressing your thoughts on for Women's Day. And I want to tell something very personally. I'm very happy, and yesterday when I was told I'm gonna be part of this panelist, be a participant, I was so excited because, ma'am, I've always seen your names on textbooks. I've seen your name on brochures. I've seen your names, whenever I walk around the walls at the university, I've seen your names. And I always had, I've met one or two of you, but I always wanted, as it's a family, wanted to meet them. And this is really an opportunity for me. And I feel very lucky today to actually interact with all of you. And thank you very much, ma'am, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know how work is, but still it means a lot to everyone. Okay, so thank you very much. And I would like to end, I would like to thank the Office of Communications for organizing Women Leading the Path panel discussion. Thank you so much, ma'am, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much.